All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Gaur Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 7 and 8 we are discussing. So I'll just recite Text 7 and then we will together recite Text 8. तत्राहृतस्ता नरदेवकन्या कूजेन दृष्ट्वा हरिमार्तबन्धुम् उत्थाय सद्यो जगृहु प्रहर्ष व्रीडानुराग प्रहितावलोकै। Then will now recite the text 8. आसां मुहूर्त एकस्मिन् नानाग्रेषु योषिताम् सविधां जग्रहे पाणिन् अनुरूप स्वमायया। आसां मुहूर्तमेकस्मिन् नानागारेषु योषिताम् सविद्धं जग्रहे पाणिन् अनुरूप स्वमायया। आसां मुहूर्त एकस्मिन् नानागारेषु योषिताम् सविद्धं जग्रहे पाणिन् अनुरूपः स्वमायया। Mataji's. So we will read the translation and purport of verse 7. There in the house of the demon, all the princesses kidnapped by Narakasura at once became alert upon seeing the Lord, the friend of the distressed. They looked upon him with eagerness, joy, and shyness, and offered to be his wives. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Narakasur kidnapped many daughters of great kings and kept them imprisoned in his palace. But when he was killed by the Lord and the Lord entered the house of the demon, all the princesses were enlivened with joy and offered to become his wives because the Lord is the only friend of the distressed. Unless the Lord accepted them, there would be no chance of their being married because the demon kidnapped them from their father's custody, and therefore no one would agree to marry them. According to Vedic society, girls are transferred from the custody of the father to the custody of the husband. Since these princesses had already been taken away from the custody of their fathers, it would have been difficult for them to have any husband other than the Lord Himself. So now we will read the word to word for text 8. Asam, all those, muhurte, at one time, ekasmin, simultaneously, nana agareshu, in different compartments, yoshitam, of the woman, savidham, with perfect rituals, jagrahe, accepted, panin, hands, anurupaha, exactly to match, swamayaya, by his internal potency. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All those princesses were lodged in different apartments, and the Lord simultaneously assumed different bodily expansions exactly matching each and every princess. He accepted their hands in perfect rituals by his internal potency. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita 533, the Lord is described as follows in regard to his innumerable plenary expansions. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The Lord Govinda, whom I worship, is the original personality of Godhead. He is non-different from his innumerable plenary expansions who are all infallible, original and unlimited, and who have eternal forms. Although he is primeval, the oldest personality, he is always fresh and young. By his internal potency, the Lord can expand himself into various personalities of Swayam Prakash and again into Prabhav and Vaibhav forms. And all of them are non-different from one another. The forms into which the Lord expanded to marry the princesses in different apartments were all slightly different, just to match each and every one of them. They are called the Vaibhav Vilas forms of the Lord and are affected by his internal potency, Yog Maya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, welcoming all the devotees for our daily Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I am sincerely seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas so that I can speak something on this very, very auspicious occasion of Makar Sankranti for my purification and for the pleasure of the Lordships and all of you. So, this particular verse, we are taking these two verses, especially verse 8, and something in this verse which is especially worth contemplating is here the Lord has accepted the hands of all of these 16,100 princesses, and he has accepted suitable matching forms to be compatible to all of these princesses. So the word here is anurupa swamaya. Anurupaha swamaya. So he has assumed different bodily expansion exactly matching each and every princess. So this is something very worth contemplating, that how the Lord is someone who can be the perfect compatible. Yes. So the Lord is the perfect person who can be compatible with us, fulfilling all our needs, fulfilling all our expectations and aspirations. In this world, compatibility is such a big thing. Recently, I charged my radio with a fast charger, mobile charger, and then its circuit blew off. So if the charger is incompatible, your device gets damaged. So then I have given it for repair now. Whether it will get repaired or not, or it is permanently damaged, that is another question. But the thing is that compatibility is essential everywhere, every field of life we see. And there is something called resonance. We have heard of resonance. So in physics, so each object has a natural frequency at which it vibrates. And when the external stimulus, it gets an external stimulus of the same frequency, then there is something called resonance. And when there is a frequency which is at odds with that natural frequency, then there's something called as damping. That frequency gets dampened. So we all are individuals and we have certain frequencies. We are having certain frequencies, certain tastes, certain tempers, temperaments, certain thought patterns, right? And then when we come across people who have the same frequency, then there is resonance. And then when there are people who are at odds, then we can't somehow fit in, right? So people say that we vibe together. The Gen Z, people say that we vibe together. So we click together. So basically there is resonance, there is compatibility. And everyone wants to be with their compatible group. Children want to be around with other children. Yeah, young people want to be with other young people. The rich want to be with other rich. The high net worth individuals, HNIs, want to be with other HNIs. So everyone is looking for a compatible chemistry. So, and even as devotees, when we go for yatras or retreats, we have options for booking rooms, sharing with other devotees. So we make sure, ये प्रभु जी के साथ जमेगा ना मेरा, right? We get requests when we organize annual retreats for the brahmacharis. Like some devotees are very particular. So it is always a factor, that compatibility. And people look for compatibility based on their level of consciousness. There's a Subhashita saying which says, Kanya varayate rupam mata vittam pita shrutam bandhava kulam icchanti mishthanna itare jana. So when marriage is being, a match is being decided, Kanya varayate rupam, the girl might look for the handsomeness of the boy, right? Mata vittam, paisa kitna hai? Mother is looking for how much money does the boy have? What is the salary? What is the profile? Pita Shrutam, okay, is he knowledgeable? Is he mature? Will he be able to take care of my daughter? Bandhava kulam icchanti, okay, the family should be reputed family, because we should get, our name should be advanced. And then Mishthanna itare jana, for the rest of the people, sweet kya milega? What will be the menu in the marriage? That's it. Otherwise, there's no other question of compatibility for the rest of the people. So, devotees also look for compatibility. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Srimad Bhagavat Arthanam Aswadai Rasikai Saha Sajatiya Snigdha Sadhu Sangha Swatovare. That even devotees, if they want to relish the mellows of devotional service, relish the Srimad Bhagavatam, they look for other devotees, Sajatiya, with whom they are compatible. Snigdha, with whom they have an affectionate relationship. And Swatovare, who are more advanced than them, so that they can learn and grow in bhakti. So yes, compatibility is essential at all levels, even for your devices, from your chargers, compatible chargers, to frequencies vibing together, right? Or be it retreats, yatras, or marriages, everywhere people are looking for compatibility. But what is this compatibility all about? So there are two components of compatibility which we'll discuss. First is similarity. There has to be similarity. As they say, birds of a feather flock together, right? People having commonness of tastes, of traits, tastes, temperaments, thoughts. So this is what we see. Ki, if you are going to the Govindas, yeah, and you want to order pizza, but the other devotee says khichdi, right? Then mismatch, taste mismatch, right? So you look for people who have similar tastes, commonness of taste. And when there's this commonness, this similarity, then you can relate with each other. You can strike a conversation. You can understand and feel being understood by the other person, right? And For many, language is also important, right? There is so much of public discourse about language. Hmm. So, so yes, for people, language is also very important. If you don't talk their language, they won't talk to you. So this similarity is very important, and there's another Subhashita which says, Mriga mrigai sangam upabrajanti, Gava cha gobi turga turgai, Murkhas cha murkhai, Sudhaya sudibhi, Samana shila vasaneshu sakhyam. That you see animals in their own species having herds. For example, the deers are with other deers, the cows are with other cows. You don't see deers, and there's one cow along with them. No, cows will be with other cows, and horses will be with other horses. So in the Golden Eco Village, we have different stables for the horses, the cows, the sheep, the goat. Yeah, and then it says Murkha cha murkhe. When we talk of friendship, fools will befriend other fools, and the wise people will befriend wise people. And even Lord Krishna, when he is teasing Rukmini, he says that actually this is not a good match between you and me. What is the similarity? You are so fair, golden complexion, and I am dark. He says, Yayor Atma Samam Vittam Janmaishwarya Kriti Bhava Tayor Vivaho Maitricha Na Uttama Adhamayo Kvachit. So Shri Krishna is saying that you are fair complexioned, I am dark complexioned. You come from a heroic Kshatriya family, and I am just a cowherd and a coward. I just grew up, herding the cows, and then now I am running from here and there, here to there. So he says actually marriage and friendship are proper between two people who are equal. Krishna is saying Vittam in terms of their wealth, in terms of their janma, birth, Aishwarya, which means influence, Akriti, physical appearance, etc. So yes, the similarity is important, but what the scriptures are teaching us, that despite our endeavors to find people with similarities, we find that we are unable to, after a certain point of time, we see differences and differences and differences growing up. Yeah. But the ultimate compatibility which we can find is with the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Pingala, she's looking for happiness in this world, and ultimately she realizes that Santam Samipe Ramanam Ratipradam Vittapadam Iham Nityam Iham Vihaya Akamadam Dukkha Bhayadi Shoka Moha Pradam Duchham Aham Bhajegya. That compatibility which I was looking for with other people, actually that compatibility is only possible with the Supreme Lord. And talking of similarities, we see in the Brahma Vimohan Leela, when all the cowherd boys and the cows were hidden by Lord Brahma, then what does Shri Krishna does? He expands into each of those cowherd boys and the cows exactly with all the features, all the qualities, all the characteristics, all the idiosyncrasies, everything Lord matches. Yavad vatsapa vatsa kalpaka bapur Yavad karang radhikam Yavad yasti vishana venudala shrig Yavad vibhushambaram Yavad shila gunabhidakriti vayo Yavad viharadhikam Sarvam vishnumayam girongavadaja Sarvaswarupo babho. So Lord Krishna personally completely expanded into these forms of these other gopas who were completely exact same matching forms he took, and not only just the form, the height, the color, the complexion, but also the way they dressed, the way what they carried, the bugle, the horn, the flute, and with their qualities, guna, their shila, their characteristics, etc., everything Lord completely expanded himself into these forms, and for 1 year no one could recognize the difference, right? So if we are looking for compatibility, that compatibility we can find with the Lord. He can make us feel at home, right? And devotees also have this quality to make us feel at home, to make us feel very similar. Once Shyam Sundar Prabhu, in the early days, as they say, Prabhupada made hippies into happies. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu previously was a drug peddler. And so the police caught over, and they were about to put him in the prison. So he came to Prabhupada and was not knowing how to declare and this to Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada asked him, so what happened? So he said, Srila Prabhupada, I'm going to go to the prison. I'm being arrested. So Prabhupada said, so what is the difficulty? Krishna was also born in the prison. He made him feel comfortable. Similarity, Krishna और आप में बहुत similarity है. You are going to prison, Krishna was also born in the prison. Then Prabhupada asked, so for what offense are you going to the prison? So he said, Srila Prabhupada, actually, I don't know how to tell you. I was a drug peddler before I met you. So Prabhupada said, oh, I also used to sell drugs. I had Prayag pharmacy in Allahabad, in Prayagraj, right? So Prabhupada made him feel at home. Yeah, there is similarity between Krishna and you, between me and you. Don't worry. Soon you will be out. Just chant Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, if we want to find that similarity, that compatibility, we find it with Sri Krishna, with devotees. But in this world, even if you find people with similarities, compatibility, but then eventually over a period of time, differences start cropping up. They say if two people agree on everything, one of them is useless. And if two people, do not agree on anything, both of them are useless. So if two people agree on everything, which means one of them is a sycophant, maska laga raha hai bas, right? And if two people don't agree on anything, which means they are habituated, to fighting and conflicts. So there are going to be differences of opinion, and we see in the case of Drupad and Drona, they were very great friends, good friends, and Drupada said, "I will give half of my kingdom to you." But then later on, when the differences grew to such an extent that both the goal of life of each of them was to annihilate the other person, right? So they say from true love it becomes toxic love. First it is made for each other, and then there is paid for each other. Spade, kill each other with a spade. An eye for an eye, a spade for a spade. So yes, it is good to have the similarity, but how to keep the relationship going when you see that the differences are cropping up? So what makes relationships sustain is the willingness to sacrifice despite the differences, willingness to accommodate the other person despite the differences. So Henry Ford, he says, coming together is the beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. So how do we succeed? Is through sacrifice. And one measure of the strength of love is how much are you willing to sacrifice for the other person. And today, talking of Makar Sankranti, is special for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas because of the sacrifice of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas, sacrificing his most beloved associates, sacrificing his Sankirtan festival he was having every day with all of his associates in Shiva Sangan with all of these associates. He sacrificed that for all of us, right? So, yes, to begin a relationship, there has to be compatibility, there has to be similarity, but then for the relationship to continue, there has to be that element of sacrifice. So, Lord Chaitanya is here demonstrating to us by this sannyas pastime that how much he is willing to sacrifice for all of us. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela says that for whom did Lord Chaitanya sacrifice? For whom did he take sannyas? संन्यास करिया प्रभु कैला कर्षण यतेक पालन छिला तार्किकादिगण पडुया पाषंडी कर्मी निंदकादियत ताराशि प्रभु पाय हयावनत. So who are these people for whom Lord Chaitanya has taken sannyas? Tarkika Adigan, the logicians, the Paduyas, those who are just interested in analyzing the scriptures, and Pashandis, who are atheists, the Karmis, the ritualistic performers, the Nindaka, the blasphemers. So Lord Chaitanya sacrificed for these people, for all of us, who are logicians, who are averse to him, who are blaspheming him. For them, Lord Chaitanya is ready to sacrifice everything that he, all of his associates, his dham, Navadvip dham, he sacrificed and went to Jagannath Puri. So we will discuss today the sannyas pastime of Lord Chaitanya. And this is a very, very auspicious day today for all of us Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the sannyas pastime of Lord Chaitanya. And there are very profound lessons that we can learn from this sannyas pastime. So it begins with chapter 26 of the Madhya Khanda of Chaitanya Bhagavat, where it is described how Lord Chaitanya was absorbed in the mellows of separation from Krishna, and he was calling out to Krishna, jumping, dancing, sometimes falling unconscious in separation from Krishna. So he was in the mood of the gopis. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavana Ramyad Kachi Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Yakalpita. In the mood of the gopis. So one day, the Vrindavan Thakur says, Ekadina Gopi Bhave Jagata Ishwar Vrindavana Gopi Gopi Bale Nirantar. So one day the Lord, being absorbed in the bhav of the gopis, was chanting Vrindavan, Gopi, Gopi. So while he was chanting like this, Vrindavan and the gopis, the name of the gopis, so one of these logicians there, he came there, Kona yoge tahi eka paduya aila, bhava marma na janiya se uttar dila. So this logician, not understanding this intimate bhav of Lord Chaitanya, he's trying to advise Lord Chaitanya what he should do. Gopi Gopi Kena Bala Nimai Pandit, Gopi Gopi Chadi Krishna Bala Twarit. They said, why are you chanting this Gopi Gopi? You should chant Krishna's holy name. Ki punya janmi be gopi gopi naam laile, Krishna naam laile se punya ye dabale. So he's saying that if you want punya, piety, you can earn by chanting Krishna's name. So the entire value of chanting Krishna's name is to get some piety. Nothing beyond that. There's no question of love. So, and then when Lord Chaitanya, he was in his internal mood. As we know, he's in his external mood and the internal mood. So in the internal mood, he was actually very incensed, angry at hearing that you should chant Krishna Nam, because as a gopi in separation from Krishna, the gopis are cursing, saying, Krishna, why did you leave us? So he says, प्रभु से आज्ञा नहीं बुझे प्रभु बले दास्यु कृष्ण को न जाने भजे. So he says, Krishna is a rogue. Who will worship him? He mercilessly killed Vali and he cut off the nose of a woman, Shurpanakha, and he sent Bali Maharaj to Patala. So what kind of reciprocation he does? He is simply a rogue. So saying this, Eta Bali Mahaprabhu Stambha Hate Laila Duya Marite Yaya Bhavishta Haya. So saying this, Lord Chaitanya took a stick, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he took a stick and started chasing after this logician. So this person started running away, and and Lord Chaitanya was chasing him. Then this person went and hid amongst all of his other logician friends. And then he is complaining to them. That is Nimai Pandit. He's claiming to be a big scholar. And you know what I saw? He was chanting the name Gopi Gopi. And he was not chanting Krishna's name. And in fact, when I corrected him, he started abusing Krishna. Krishna re o haila ya teka gala gali. Taha ara mukhe ami ani te napari. He was saying such filthy words for Krishna, I can't even repeat them. And so now this entire episode happened, and then Lord Chaitanya came to his external consciousness, and he realized that this person has offended me, and now for that, offended the Supreme Lord, and for that he is going to be suffering in hell for millions of lifetimes. So he is contemplating, I have come to this world to deliver the fallen, ignorant, atheistic people, and now after coming here to deliver them, I am actually increasing their bondage. Karila pipali khanda kafa nivarite ulatiya aro kafa badila dehete. So he said, I have come to give the medicine pipali khand to reduce the cough, but after taking this medicine, the cough is increasing, which means the fever of material existence is increasing. Dekha kali shikha sutra saba mudaiya ya bhiksha kari vedai mu sannyasa kariya. So he says, I need to think of a strategy by which I can deliver them. This current strategy of me doing Sankirtan is not working out because they are taking me for granted as a householder. So I am going to take sannyas. I am going to give up my Brahmin thread. I am going to shave my head. And when the devotees heard, actually Nityanand Prabhu understood that Lord Chaitanya is going to take sannyas. And when the devotees came to know that he is going to take sannyas, their hearts broke. Sabe shunaya shri sikharantardhan murchita pade karu nahi dehe gyan. So they fell unconscious, they started lamenting, crying. They were thinking Lord Chaitanya shaving off his beautiful, soft, curly hairs. So they are discussing among themselves. Keha bale se sundara chanchara chikure aramala ganthia ki divata upare. Say one devotee is saying, I every day bring a garland to decorate his, locks of hairs. Now for whom will I make this garland? Then someone else said, Keha bale na dekhiya sakesha bandhan kemate rahibe ei papishta jivan. If I am unable to see the beautiful locks of Lord Chaitanya's hair, what is the point of maintaining my life? I am going to give up my life. So like this, the devotees are broken-hearted. So Lord Chaitanya, they say that putting your skin in the game, which means that you are ready to, willing to sacrifice something to make something happen, right? So Lord Chaitanya is here not just putting his skin in the game, putting his hair in the game, right? And not just that, what he's actually sacrificing is not just the comforts and shaving off his hair. What he is sacrificing is his greatest treasure, and the greatest treasure is his loving devotees. The Nityanand Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, Shivas Thakur, all of these Vaishnavas, Shuklambar Brahmachari, Sridhar, Kolavecha, all of these devotees with whom he had loving pastimes every day, he would spend hours together discussing and negotiating, bargaining with Sridhar Kolvecha. All of that he is going to sacrifice for whom? For the atheists, for the blasphemers who are anyways not interested in him. And he is sacrificing his greatest treasure, devotees who have been tested under the extreme conditions. Devotees who have stood the test of such extreme conditions, which is described in the chapter 25, the previous chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavat, that what was the what was the nature and strength of the love of these devotees. The previous chapter describes when there was this kirtan happening in Shiva's Angan. One day, what happened? Let's see. एक दिन नाचे प्रभु श्रीवास मंदिरे सुखे श्रीनिवास आदि संकीर्तन करे. So one day, as Lord Chaitanya was dancing in Shiva's Angan, something happened. दैवे व्याधि योगे ग्रहे श्रीवास नंदन परलोक हईले न देखे नारीगण आनंदे करे नृत्य श्री सची नंदन आचंबिते श्रीवास ग्रहे उठिला क्रंदन. So by Deva Yoga, by providence, the son of Shiva's Angan that night, he departed, he died because he was suffering from an illness. And in the other room in the Shiva's Angan, Lord Chaitanya is dancing with great ecstasy with all of his associates, while here in the inner chambers, one of the sons of Shiva's has departed. And all the ladies started crying with great grief, being grief-stricken. And they're hearing their crying, wailing. Shiva's Thakur comes there, trying to stop. For example, if the class is going on and there's some disturbance, then immediately, devotees hush the disturbance because they want attention in the class. So Shiva's Thakur comes up here and says that his wife and all the women there are crying because of the departure of his son. Parama Gambhira Bhakta Maha Tattva Jnani Sri Ganera Prabodhite Lagila Apani. So he's Parama Gambhir, he's very, very deep in his devotional service. And so he tells them, don't you know the glory of the chanting of the holy names of the Lord? Even once chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can get delivered from the cycle of birth and death and go to Vaikuntha or go to Goloka. And here the Supreme Lord is personally dancing in our house, in our courtyard, and all of you are lamenting for what? Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Yah prayati samadbhavam yanti nasti atra samshaya. Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna, someone who leaves his body chanting my names or remembering me, he goes back home, back to Godhead. He doesn't come back to this cycle of this world of birth and death. So what are you lamenting for? अंतकाले सकृत सुनीले यार नाम अति महापातकी ओ याय कृष्ण धाम हे न प्रभु आपने साक्षाते करे नृत्य गुण गाय यत तारा भ्रमादिक भृत्य. So Lord Chaitanya is personally dancing here. There is no need for lamentation. And he says, even if you can't give up your lamentation, at least postpone your lamentation. Don't cry and wail now, because Lord Chaitanya's kirtan should not be disturbed. He says, if you disturb the kirtan, I will not be able to maintain my life. So this is the love of Lord Chaitanya's devotees. So it is not that they are just dancing and in ecstasy with Lord Chaitanya. They are willing to sacrifice, and we see here what is Lord Shiva's Thakur willing to sacrifice. Even if his own son has died, he doesn't want that to become an interruption in Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy. So can we imagine Lord Chaitanya is giving up the association of such devotees? And when Lord Chaitanya later says that I am not feeling ecstasy today, there is something wrong in this house, some grief is there in this house. So then devotees tell Lord Chaitanya that this is what has happened. So Lord Chaitanya, Prabhu bale hena sanga chhadi bake mate, eta bali Mahaprabhu lagila kandite. Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya is thinking, how will I give up such association of such devotees? And speaking this, he began to cry. पुत्र शोक न जानीला ये मोहार प्रेमे हेने सब संग मुशी छाड़ी बके माने एत बलि महाप्रभु कांदे न निर्भर त्याग वाक्य शुनि सबे चिंते न अंतर. So Lord Chaitanya, thinking like this, he started crying because he knows that now he has to soon take sannyas. So Lord Chaitanya has given up the association of such loving devotees who have stood the test of the most extreme tests. There's another pastime in the Madhya Khanda of the Chaitanya Bhagavat where Sachi Mata, her devotion is described. Once Lord Chaitanya asked her, give me garland and some flowers and chandan to go and worship Mother Ganga. And Sachi Mata says that, give me some time. I'm going to get it. When she says like this, he becomes upset. I want it now. And in his rage, he takes a stick and he breaks all the pots, all the utensils, throws everything upside down. And at the end of it, when his rage subsides, Sachi Mata is quietly sitting there and with the garland and the sandalwood pulp, offering it to him. Please go and worship Mother Ganga. So this is the kind of devotees whom Lord Chaitanya is going to sacrifice. And whom is he going to sacrifice them, their association for? For all of us who are the least interested in him. Right? Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama. The mudhas, the naradhamas, the maya, aprita jnanas who are not interested in him, Lord is willing to sacrifice the association of these pure devotees for our welfare. So, Lord has made up his mind and now the day comes when he is going for taking sannyas. The 28th chapter of the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it says, Ei sankramana uttarayana divase nishchaya chaliba ami karite sannyase. So Lord Chaitanya is telling Nityanand Prabhu that on the coming Makar Sankranti, the day of Sankramana Uttarayan, the day when the sun comes into Uttarayan, I am going to go for taking sannyas. And he describes, Indrani nikate katosha name gram tatha ache keshava bharati shuddhanam. So there's a river called Indrani near, and there's a village called Katwa, which was named as Katova at that time. So he tells Nityanand Prabhu that I'm going to go and take sannyas on this day of Makar Sankranti. You don't tell anyone, just go and inform these 5 people. Who are these 5 people? My mother Sachi Devi, Gadadhar Pandit, Mukunda, Chandrasekhar Acharya and Brahmanand Bharati. So this destined day came, the day before the eve of Makar Sankranti. Lord Chaitanya is sitting in his house and at the yoga peeth, and no one knows, but everyone is feeling attracted and drawn to come and meet Lord Chaitanya. They say the Last Supper. So Lord Chaitanya is going to take sannyas and all the devotees are getting drawn, feeling the urge to go and meet him. And there Lord Chaitanya welcomes everyone. Everyone is bringing some gift. They are getting garlands and offering him garlands in reciprocation. Apana galara mala sabha kera diya, agya kare prabhu sabe Krishna na gayo giya. Yadi ami prati sneha thake sabakara, tabe Krishna vyatirikta na gai beara. His parting instructions to them are, they don't know he is parting ways with them, but he knows. So he says, he is offering garland to them and he says, if you love me, you must chant the names of Krishna. Ki shayane, ki bhojane, ki bajagarane, aharnisha chinta Krishna balaha vadane. While waking, sitting, walking, eating, sleeping, every time chant Krishna's name and remember Krishna. And now Sachi Mata has also come to know that Lord Chaitanya is going to take sannyas. And she's broken-hearted, besides herself. She has already lost her husband and her elder son. So now Sachi Mata is besides her grief. And so he is consoling Sachi Mata. Shuna Mata Ishwarera Dhina Samsar Swatantra Haite Shakti Nahika Kahar. Listen, O mother, this entire creation is running under the will of the providence, will of the Supreme Lord. No one has the power to be independent. Dasha dinantare vaki ekhane ami chalile o kona chinta na kariha tumi. Whether now or 10 days from now or 10 years from now, we are going to get separated. So it is the will of the providence, will of the Lord. So it has to happen. So now when Lord Chaitanya decides to take sannyas, and in the middle of the night, in the Brahma Muhurat time, actually he leaves home to go and cross this river and go to this village of Katwa to take sannyas. And in the morning, when all the devotees, all the people of Navadvip came to know about this, everyone just realizes what they have lost. So many times, absence makes the heart grow fonder. We realize the value of something only when we lose it. And when Lord Chaitanya left, all of these Nindaka, Paduya, Adigan, these blasphemers, they realized their offenses. Prabhu se jane yare taribe ye mate sarva jiva uddhara kariba he namate. So Lord knows how to deliver each and every living entity. What is the perfect customized plan to actually bring someone closer to Him? He knows whether it will take a calamity in that person's life, whether it will take a success in that person's life, whatever it will take, Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya does that. Ninda dvesha adi yara manete achila prabhura viraha sarpa pashande damshila. Even those who were offenders, they were bitten by the snake of separation from the Lord. They now realize their mistake, and the Lord's plan now is fructifying. Just as He has left, just by His leaving Navadvip to go and take sannyas, their hearts have transformed, right? And now Lord has come here to this Katwa Gram, and there the scene is described. He's chanting and dancing in ecstasy. Mukunda and Nityanand Prabhu, all of these devotees have come. Arbuda loke shuni sei kshane asiya milila nahi jona kotha haya. So millions and millions of people have gathered here seeing Lord Chaitanya's dance, and Lord Chaitanya is telling Keshav Bharati here that please give me sannyas. So he says that I have not seen such devotion anywhere, and I can now understand that you are the Supreme Lord yourself. So who am I? You are Jagat Guru. Who am I to give you sannyas? So Lord says, Prabhu bole maya more nakara prakash hena diksha deha yena haya Krishna das. So do not deceive me, make me servant of Lord Krishna, give me sannyas. And then Keshav Bharati agrees. He says that you are just to teach an example that one must accept a guru. You are giving me this opportunity. And then the barber was called to shave the head of Lord Chaitanya. Let's see what the barber does. Napita vasila asi samukhe yakhane krandanera kalarava uthila takhane. The barber, just seeing the beautiful locks of hair of Lord Chaitanya, he just could not touch his hairs, what to speak of cutting those hairs. And he was crying, his eyes were filled with so much tears, he could not even now see the hairs of Lord Chaitanya, what to speak of cutting those hairs. And then, as he is not cutting, Lord Chaitanya is in ecstasy, started dancing. So now he can see Lord Chaitanya is dancing, he cannot cut. When Lord Chaitanya sits down, he starts crying, he cannot cut. So eventually the entire day passes, he is not able to cut the hair of Lord Chaitanya. And everyone there is completely beside themselves. This cannot happen. Everyone is angry and upset. But Lord Chaitanya, by this Sankirtan, he pacifies everyone, and his hair are finally cut. Bola bola kari Prabhu karaye hunkar shora karma napita na pare karibar. So somehow or the other, Lord's hair were finally shaved during the entire day, and he sat for sannyas ceremony. So how does this sannyas happen? The guru is supposed to chant a mantra in the ears of the disciple. So Keshav Bharati is supposed to chant a mantra, but then how can he initiate the Supreme Lord? So first the Supreme Lord, who is Jagat Guru, has to initiate Keshav Bharati. So he chants a mantra in the ears of Keshav Bharati, and Bujha dekhi taha tumi kiba haya nahe eta bali prabhu tara karne mantre kahe. So he tells a mantra in Keshav Bharati's ear, and he says that in dream some Mahajan gave this mantra to me. And Keshav Bharati says, this is the perfect mantra. This is the best of all mantras. Bharati balena ei maha mantra yar krishnera prasade ki tomara agochar. So what is unknown to you, this is the best of mantras. And Keshav Bharati then in turn recites this mantra in Lord Chaitanya's ears. And then Parilena Aruna Vasana Manohar Tahate Haila Koti Kandar Pasundar. So after this mantra is chanted, Lord Chaitanya goes and changes his dress, accepts the saffron cloth, and he comes back. He's very, very beautiful with his head decorated with chandan, and he's wearing a garland, and he's wearing this saffron dress. Danda kamandulu dui Shri Haste Ujwal Niravadi Nija Preme Anande Vival. So he is holding danda and kamandalu in his hands. And the next thing is that he has to be given a name. So Keshav Bharati is supposed to give him a name, and he's thinking, what name can I give him? I can't give him the name Bharati, because Bharati will undermine his position. He cannot be put in the category of other sannyasis. Like there are 108 different sannyas names. So for the Mayavadis, there are 11 different sannyas names. So he cannot be put in that category. So he's thinking what name to be given. And that time, Bhagyavan Nyasi Bara Ete Ke Chintite Shuddha Saraswati Taya Aila Jehvate. So the Saraswati Devi inspired Keshav Bharati to give him a name. And what is this name? Yata Jagatera Tumi Krishna Bolaiya Yakarela Chaitanya Kirtana Prakashiya. So you are making the entire world chant Krishna. So your name must have the word Krishna. And you are making the world conscious of Krishna. So your name must have Chaitanya. So your name should have Krishna and Chaitanya. Ete ke tomara naam Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Sarva loka toma haite yate hai ledhanya. And by chanting your name, the entire world will become fortunate by chanting Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Ete yadi nyasi bara balila vachan jayadhvani pushpavrashti hailata khan. So when he chanted this name Shri Krishna Chaitanya, everyone started chanting Jai Jai. So He namate sannyasa kariya prabhu dhanya prakashila atmanam Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Thus Lord Chaitanya, he has taken sannyas and become famous as Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So we sing in Sachishut Ashtakam, Arunam Nayanam Vasanam Charanam Vadane Skalitam Swakanamadharam Kurute Surasam Jagata Jivanam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram. So he's wearing these sparkling saffron robes, and he's chanting the holy names of Shri Krishna, and thus he's propagating the Sankirtan movement all over the world. So we see here how much Lord Chaitanya has sacrificed. So they say that everyone has a policy. The Prime Minister has a nation first policy. What is Lord Chaitanya's policy in this world? Jiva first policy. So his first priority in this world is all the living entities. Even for that, if he has to sacrifice the association of his devotees, even for that, if he has to break the hearts of his loving associates, he is willing to do that for all of us. So in reciprocation, what is our responsibility, our duty, what we can do to reciprocate with him? So we should have a Krishna first policy. That in our lives, whatever decisions we make, whatever choices we make, we must have Krishna first. Wake up early in the morning and chant Krishna's holy names first up in the morning. And while we are chanting, keep all the planning, contemplation, everything for later. We can make Prabhupada first policy for ourselves. We can make ISKCON first policy for ourselves. Prabhupada said, you can show your love for me by how you cooperate amongst each other. So there may be differences of opinion among ourselves, but then we cooperate for a higher purpose of pleasing Srila Prabhupada. So we can have this Krishna first policy, Prabhupada first policy, and devotees first policy in our life, just as Lord Chaitanya is having Jiva first policy, that for all of us, he's taking that sacrifice. And recently there was this New Year, 1st January, people are taking resolutions. But in one sense, the Uttarayana, which means the Devatas have their good morning now. So the Devatas, the day of the Devatas, the demigods, it begins from today, from Makar Sankranti, as the sun moves into the Makar Rashi, into the Uttarayan. So for us, let it be the resolution, the New Year resolution, that for us from today, we will, in the spirit of Lord Chaitanya, reciprocating with him, have Krishna first policy in our lives. Everything else is secondary. Our first priority is to love Krishna and serve Krishna and engage ourselves in the service of Krishna. So with this, we'll conclude here. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.